Okay, so today I'm talking about Roma, Recursive Open Meta Agent, and this is by a group called Sentient AGI. And just before we get going, please understand that if you want to support me and my channel, you can use this link here, trade.what.exchange/ref alpha stack. This is my referral link. If you go here, then you can trade futures, completely DeFi, no need to KYC. They have a whole bunch of tokens, very cool platform. Okay, so let's begin. Essentially what Roma is it's a open source searching agent. Okay, so think of like Grok. Actually, right now I'm running a Grok query, but you see how now it's analyzing DeFi, it's doing all these kind of different searches. That's what Roma is. It does this type of thing, but in an open source environment. Okay, and they're currently ranking better than most other platforms. So I just showed you Grok 4. That's here. This is Roma, which actually has a better score, whatever score I guess is a seal 0. They have a better score than Grok 4. Kimi Research is the one that's closest. They came out pretty recently from China. They're supposed to be open source, but they haven't actually released the package yet. So let's get into it. Sentient AI is an open source AGI foundation. They are owned by everyone that is involved in this. So I have a feeling they're somewhat involved in crypto. And I say that because when I used their chat app, which is actually in beta, I couldn't use it, you were able to actually log in through a crypto wallet. And also I saw they're on Kaido Research, which is another crypto research platform. So I think they're pretty involved in crypto. I looked for their token, couldn't find it. If you know if they have a token, please leave a comment and let me know because I couldn't find it. But this is what we're talking about today. It's called Roma. You can find this open source at github.com/sentient-AI/Roma. It is a recursive open meta agent. So recursive means it's doing loops. It's going back on itself. It'll find something, use that, and then refeed that into the system. Okay, and here's all the information, here's the documentation. It was actually quite easy to set up, so if you follow their guide, you can do it. The only things I wanted to mention is, first, Docker. If you don't know how to use Docker, you're gonna have to install this and get this working. This was actually the hardest part for me because I don't use Docker, but I have it working now. The other thing that you need to note, is, or two things, is it has agents and the EVM, sorry, the ENV. So first, agents. This is kind of the bread and butter of this, right? So if you don't use an agent, use the general chat, then it's not that amazing. But what makes it so cool is they have specific agents. So right now there's 3 core agents. There is a here you go agent. There's a deep research agent, which is not so interesting, general agent, and a crypto analytics agent, which is what I've used in my example here. So just understand if you want to really tap into this magic, you have to use these agents they've set up. Probably more will come in the future. The other thing too that they don't mention in their README, which I guess it's self-explanatory, you should know this, but just as a note, before it's going to work, you're going to need to plug in your API keys. Okay, so to use Roma is free. Their actual platform is open source. But in order to get credits from the LLMs, and for example, if you're using the crypto agent, it's going to do things like scan CoinGecko, you need an API for that. It's going to use Arkham intelligence, you need a paid API for that. So in this example, I'm choosing my Claude API because I love Claude, and also I'm using my CoinGecko API because it is free. So with those two things said, let me show you my setup right here. I'm not really going to dig into this. These are all the different files that were in the repo. I've essentially set it up. I've connected that to Docker. I've made some small modifications and changes. The first one was to these agents because for some reason, a lot of these agents are hard-coded to use specific LLMs. Like this one was hard-coded to use Gemini Flash. So anything that it's actually using, I've rewritten to use Anthropic, like this one here, right? So it's Smart Web Searcher, which is a tool that allows it to go search the internet. Well, before it was using like OpenRouter, Google stuff, which I don't want. So I changed it to Anthropic Claude. That was kind of annoying having to do that, but now it works. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I kept on hitting rate limits because I'll show you in a second. Let's see. See this? See each of these boxes? Each of these boxes is a different kind of like API call. And so it was quickly hitting the rate limits of the API. So I changed these things. This is in sentient.yaml. And I've just kind of reduced these numbers. It was 10 nodes at once and 8, blah, blah, blah. I've just reduced it to avoid that issue. Okay, and then without further ado, let me show you what it looks like. So like I showed you just a second ago, this is the actual Roma agent. You can see it's running on my local host, which means it's connecting to that this IDE that I showed you. And then this is connecting to, of course, the APIs I put in. But outside of that, this is all running locally. And let me just break it down. So essentially what it does is I started with this, this prompt here. So DeFi landscape analysis, executive summary, top 5 protocols. I wanted it to do something that was really going to push its abilities, right? So this question here is asking me to give 5 different protocols. It's asking me to give, or I'm asking it to give price, market cap, 24-hour, resistance, MACD, all these type of things. I've also run this into Grok, but these types of things don't work well in other agent platforms because it's going to require very specific information, and not just require it, but also need to feed it back in recursively to understand how to use it. So yeah, I'll show you the Roma first, and then we can kind of do the reveal on what Grok gave me. So yeah, start with this prompt. That's what I said. Essentially, it takes that prompt and then it breaks it into this next level here. So the prompt was, yeah, look for 5 protocols, and then it's like, okay, find 5 here using DeFi Llama. So already it's making some sort of API call, and you can click these to see if they worked. So I can actually check the outputs here. Let me have a look. Okay, so it looks like very smartly it identified that the DeFi Llama, all these aggregators, it wasn't actually able to contact them. So that's fair, you know. Okay, maybe actually I think I didn't give it the API because I couldn't figure out DeFi Llama, so that's probably why. But it also gave recommendations as to what else it could do. Okay, so it's going to do that for a bunch of different things. So that was for the kind of the TVL. This one here is market data, indicators, on-chain metrics. It's going to go through and see. Okay, one other important thing is this says search, search, search. It says think. Okay, so these are kind of categorized into different actions. You see a lot of these green ones are just searches, and it does all these searches. Some of these here are think, 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 and the last one is write. So this is going to give me the actual answer. Okay, but just moving down to the second layer here. So it's taken that first information and then it's analyzed it, right? So I guess this is this is the second version of that thing. Let me see if it actually succeeded. To do that, you click on the node and you click full results. Let me pause. Okay, so even in this layer, it's saying it's unable to do it. The DeFi Llama is not working. It says it has access to Wikipedia and web search. Obviously, those are not really going to work. This is a bit confusing. I did enter my CoinGecko API, so it should have access to that, but it looks like it's not able to, which is going to kind of make this result not so amazing. But anyways, in theory, it's able to. Oh, here's go. This one has 2 tool calls. Okay, so let's see how this one did. Again, click the node. You click that. Let's have a look. Nothing good. Okay, well, instead of boring you, I'm going to go to the end result. See all of these different searches. You can see how many it did. So before I actually continue, oh no, one of them failed. Before I actually continue, I want to note that this is not cheap actually, because you saw how many API calls it's making. And so just in this testing, I have spent $3. And you can see on the other days I've spent nearly 0. So it is quite expensive because it's doing so many calls. And also I'm actually using a cheaper LLM, so be careful which LLM you hook up. And I can see there's a fail here, so let's have a look. Here's a rate limit. Like I said before, I was hitting rate limits, it's still hitting those rate limits. Unfortunately, something I also noticed is that if it hits those rate limits, then it can break. So let's have a look. So let's have a look. Is this done? It's still pending. Okay, let me pause for a second. Well, I can't fix it. I have tried to edit the file. I was able to actually add in CoinGecko, but I'm still hitting those API rate limits. So definitely some sort of flaw in their system. And the reason why it is a flaw, not just my mistake, is because you can see that it creates so many API calls. And that's good, right? Each API call means we have more data, but also anyone using this is going to quickly A, run into rate limits like I have, and B, they're going to be burning through tokens. So just be aware of that. If you're going to run this, perhaps run the LLM locally. That may save you some time and some money. Well, maybe not time, but save you some money. But you can see the gist of this, right? So I did a new one here, just 2 tokens, and I've integrated CoinGecko. And you can see that it actually started to work. So for example, this one here, when it asks about the coin market cap stuff, actually the first LLM call, the results was giving back information on how to do the API call to CoinGecko. So if things hadn't have broken, it would have succeeded in calling this information. Okay, but to wrap up this video, I wanted to show you this Grok call. And here it is. So this is a Grok call. This one actually finished, right? It's all kind of a packaged product, so they're not going to hit API rate limits. But you can see it's way more hazy. So for example, it says price stagnation near 310. And actually the price right now is just under $300. So this price is not up to, or this information is not up to date, even if I actually told it to get up to date information. And also just kind of like general information. It doesn't do any sort of deep dives into anything. So if Roma was to work, the results would be much higher. Unfortunately, in this tutorial, I wasn't able to get it to work completely. So that is the end of the video. If you do want me to try to fix this and re-record and show you everything in action, please leave a comment so I know that people are interested in this. But if not, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And again, if you want to support me, you can use my What Exchange referral link and just trade on there, make some money, and also it would help me a lot. Thank you so much. Goodbye.